What's happening, guys? Welcome back to Vertical Football. Welcome back to another episode of the weekend preview show. Liverpool versus Manchester United. Guys, this is going to be a blockbuster, really, because when you look at this game, Liverpool is currently second in the table with 15 points. Man United is currently 10th on the table with 10 points. That's after 7 games. And when you look at it, this is different realities for both clubs. Liverpool, on one end, have lost the last 3 games they played in all competition, which is, I think, they lost against Crystal Palace, right? They lost against Galatasaray in the Champions League, and then they lost their last game in Premier League against Chelsea. And when you look at those 3 games for Liverpool, it has been away games. So they lost, Crystal Palace was an away game, Galatasaray obviously was an away game, Chelsea was in Stamford Bridge. And so they have lost those 3 games away, and for them, is the best place they want to be after the international break, to this new run of games, which is to play in their favorite place to play, their home, which is Anfield. I came across a statistic that Liverpool has been unbeaten in the last 20 games at Anfield, and that should show you really that is the best place they could start this new run of games in terms of Anfield. And on the other end, Manchester United, this season has always been a fact of when you are at home, when they are at home, that's Manchester United in Old Trafford, the performance is better. I think not perfect. I think maybe after the number of games they played this season at home, we'll look at it that, okay, Arsenal's performance was good, and the last game against Sunderland was quite decent and was composed and regulated. And so you look at it that when they play at home, the performances is there, the belief is there, the confidence is there. But when they play away, it has been shambolic. And so for Man United, it is the worst place, that they want to start this new run of game. Not just an away match, but an away game against your most historic rival. And not just against your most historic rival, Liverpool, but also against your most historic rival in Anfield. And I think for Man United, it's really, really going to be a test again for Ruben Amorim's side. So I think let's go to Liverpool. Liverpool, as I said earlier, decent home record. Have been unbeaten based on the statistics I saw, and the fact that this season, yes, does not be a perfect season for Liverpool. Obviously, they've always had to 90th minutes scoring. Where they've actually had to score 90th minute. For them, I think this season for them, maybe except the few games that they lost, but when you look at it, you find out that for them, they've not really had an issue of scoring per se. I know against Crystal Palace, it was 2-1 they lost. Against Chelsea, it was 2-1 they lost. And against Galatasaray, they did not score any goal. But I think for them, we always know Liverpool to be a team that can score goals, except this last 3 games. But what we've also seen about them this season, which is clear, is the fact that they also concede. And so that's going to be a major sticky point, is that they concede. But also when you look at Man United, you also have to understand the fact that Man United concedes. That's quite clear. It's obvious. The statistics is clear on that. But also Man United also find it difficult to score. Man United find it difficult to score. Man United, I don't think Man United has won any game by 3 goals margin this season, right? So the games they've won, okay, they have 3 goals margin against Burnley, but that was a 3-2, really. Apart from that, Sunderland was a 2-0 result. Against Chelsea, they scored 2. But the fact is, when you look at it, I think the most comfortable result this season for Man United has just been the Sunderland game. And so there are a lot of question marks. But for Liverpool, they would score against Man United. I think based on the statistics, based on what we've seen over time, it's expected that United might not be able to keep a clean sheet. Now, to the degree to which that scoreline is not a question. But I feel that Liverpool obviously has the firepower. I feel after the international break, they feel it's a new time to come up and make a new statement after the losses they had before the end of the last run of games. And so for them, at Anfield with their fans behind them, I expect that they will put up a performance, and I expect that they will obviously, as Liverpool is known for, will want a win. They will go for a win. And so I expect obviously in Anfield is going to be a very tough game. For Man United, I think for Man United, it's always a question of, are the players going to turn up? Really, it's not about any tactics. It's not about what's the 3-4-3 against the 4-2-3-1 of Liverpool, the 4-3-3 of Liverpool. It's always about, will the players turn up? Against Sunderland, they turned up, but the question is, will they turn up? And that question of will they turn up, you can't answer that question here. The fact is, you only answer that question after the first half, right? After the first half, you cannot answer the question, they turned up, right? And also when you come to Liverpool in Anfield, I have a popular saying that I have developed from watching Liverpool over the years, is that first half and second half are two different games in Anfield, and you could see that. I think that when I talked briefly about Arsenal Liverpool game, I told you guys, I said first half, that's this season, Arsenal Liverpool in Anfield. I said Arsenal were all over Liverpool in the first half, but I was like, this is Anfield. First half is different from second half in Anfield. When you remember the 7-0 loss that Man United had in Anfield under Klopp and under Ten Hag, I think at the end of the first half was 1-0, right? 1-0. But the second half, everything changed. So this is also going to be a test for Man United. It's not just about showing up in the first half. For you to have a decent result in this game, you have to turn up for every single minute of this game. Because this is a ground, this is a team that, when you lose concentration for just a split second, you'll get punished. And once you get punished and you don't get your concentration back, it can just turn to a nightmare. And so for Man United, for me, it's just about, just don't think about the results. If I'm to talk to the players, don't think about the results. Don't think about what may happen or what may not happen. Focus on what you can control. And what you can control majorly is, number one, your concentration. Keep your concentration. Be concentrated throughout the 90 minutes and plus a minute, because this is also a team that can score in the dying minute. So for every single minute you're on the pitch, you are concentrated from your warm-up to when you shake the referee and you leave the pitch. Be concentrated. Another thing about Man United that Man United should also have to do in this game is the fact that be committed. Every ball, you have to be committed for 90 plus minutes from your warm-up to when you leave the pitch. Be committed. Be committed. This is a team, and we've seen it this season, where in certain moments of not being committed, like against Fulham, certain dynamics of play, they were not being committed, they didn't track the run and everything, or against Man City, where for the first few minutes of the game, look as if United started well, but all of a sudden, just a lack of concentration, a lack of commitment in tackles, a lack of commitment in the second balls, and then Manchester City entered the game and it became a totally different story. So for United, it's all about be committed. Be very, very committed. Be very, very committed in every duel. And thirdly, for me, is the desire, the passion. Don't just forget about what the result is or what the result may be for United. If I'm to advise them, forget about what may be or what may not be. Just focus on what you can control, which is your concentration, your commitment, and the passion. Go into that game, stick to the plan that you guys have. Sometimes it might even happen that in the first 5 minutes you might concede. Stick to the plan. Don't crumble. It's not over until it's over. Stick to the plan, because the moment you are not committed, the moment you are not concentrated, the moment you give up on your plan, on your belief, it will become a nightmare. And I think at this club, we've had so many nightmares. We don't want any more nightmares, really. And so for Liverpool, I know, yes, Liverpool has been talking about a lot of defensive challenges, which I think when we did an analysis before the season, we suspected that would be, especially the right-hand side of Liverpool. We suspected that it's going to be a really, really big problem, for Liverpool. And now it depends on how Man United is able to capitalize on it, depending on the lineup that Man United sets up. You have to capitalize on the weaknesses, because that Liverpool team, as I said earlier, they concede goals, right? As we've seen. Yeah, maybe not much as Man United, but they have the capacity to concede goals. You can actually score them. So it's about also knowing where to capitalize on the weaknesses. So for me, I feel in tactics, I feel the game for this match will be lost for Man United on the defensive transition. I really believe that. I believe that, the ability to first of all contend for the second balls, and they set up defensive transition. So it's something they have to look at, defensive transition. And for Liverpool, I just feel they have to just step up. I expect they step up, but I just feel for Liverpool, I think Liverpool has to be very, very bad for United to win this game. I think if United win the game, which I don't like to use if, but let's say if United wins the game, I feel Liverpool has to be bad and United has to be very good. I think so, because this game, it looks like a no-brainer. When you look at the fact that, when you look at Man City, for example, against United, that's an away game at Etihad. For United, just have to just step up. So I will do quickly the lineup of United. Obviously, I think for me, I would say for United, you just want to go with I think for me, I'll definitely go with Lamens, Sene Lamens in goal. I know it's Anfield, but let's go with Sene Lamens in goal. I will go with. I think I want to go with Aiden Evan. I hope he's fit. If he's fit, I heard that there was maybe a little bit of knock, but I hope he's fit. I don't want to use Shaw in this game. I don't want to. I've said it before about Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw is a nice guy, but I don't want to take Luke Shaw to the burning bush or to the burning furnace. Anfield is the burning furnace. Anfield will test you, not just your footballing skills, but your mental skills. I don't want to see Luke Shaw crumble in Anfield again. I do not want to see that. So for me, I'm not going to start Luke Shaw. For me, I think it's going to be a bad thing. I think for me, I will use, if Mazaraoui is present, I think either Aiden Evan or Mazaraoui, one of them will have to start in that defense for me. I think Delete is what I need in this game, obviously. One of the best players this season so far. And then Lene Yoro, wants in this game. This game, I feel Dalot starts at right wing back. Dogu starts at left wing back. Bruno Casemiro in midfield. And I think they have to have the best game of their lives, really. Best game of their lives in that midfield. That's the best game of their life. Yeah, I know Liverpool midfield, there are question marks there, but really, even with the question marks, the levels are still there. You cannot deny that. And so, Bruno Casemiro in midfield, I will go with, funny enough, I think I have to go with the starting trio against Sunderland, really. I think I'll go with Mason Mount. I want the intensity to him to help the midfield. But I think by the 60th minute, I want to see how Liverpool sets up. If I was a coach, see how Liverpool sets up in terms of their defensive shape. Look at the frailties of their defensive problems or the signs that defensive problems are showing. And then I think Matheus Cunha will do a very good job in the second half. I really believe that. I believe if the weaknesses are there in that right-hand side, I think Matheus Cunha would do very well. I think so. That's Mount, Mbeumo and Sesko. I think Man United, we shouldn't try to build up this game. If you are looking at it, let's play long balls. And that's why I want Lamens to play. Let's play the long balls. Let's play it in their side. But also be very careful not to come out much. I know we want to play, but we have to be very wise in this game. Don't come out much, Let's just be measured and let's take good care of the moments we get. I think that's what before. For Liverpool, to analyze the strength, I think you just have to show up. The strengths are there, really. The strengths are there, really. On the corner, it's a strength. Attacking wise, it's a strength. Transitions, it's a strength. The strengths are there, man. So, final prediction for me, I want to be optimistic. I want to be optimistic, even though I know yes, it's Anfield. I want to be optimistic, and I'll go for a draw, maybe a 1-1 draw in Anfield. I know it's a long shot, really, but for me, a 1-1 draw would be a very, very good result, a very massive result, and it will mean that Man United actually stepped up that game. So, guys, these are my opinions on the preview between Liverpool and Manchester United coming up this weekend at Anfield. What are your thoughts about this match? What do you think will happen in the game? What do you think will be the weaknesses of Liverpool or the weaknesses of Man United? What do you think are the strengths of Man United? And the strengths of Liverpool. So guys, drop it in the comment section. Thank you for sticking with us. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and most importantly, don't forget to share. Until I see you next time. Bye.